70 degrees, sunny and windy. Los Angeles Coliseum the scene. A sellout as the Chiefs and Los Angeles Raiders battle for first place in the AFC West. Kansas City with a win earlier this year at Arrowhead with a game lead over their rivals from Los Angeles. And going back to Oakland and Kansas City, even to Dallas and Oakland, this is a rivalry.
Yeah, if you look for one in the AFC, this is it. These guys have never liked each other. Last time they met, the Los Angeles Raiders had 16 penalties. To give you an example of how intense this is, as Derek Thomas left the field, going in the locker room, bumped by Andre Townsend, and then Howie Long confronts him. I think that's a little good-natured ribbing, but at the same time, these two teams are always pushing and shoving after every single play, Dick.
Jeff Jager will kick it off. Kansas City won the toss. Fred Jones deep for the Chiefs. 68,000 at the refurbished Coliseum. Jones spun down across the 20-yard line, and here comes Kansas City's offense, led today by Dave Craig. Alt, Zott, Grunard, Shields, the rookie, and Siglar, the offensive line. Craig has Marcus Allen for the first time in 16 years. He's playing in the Coliseum in an enemy uniform. Anders, the fullback, Burden and Davis wideouts, and Hayes, the tight end. When they go to three wides, Fred Jones comes in. Marcus Allen, Heisman winner at Southern California, the all-time rusher in Raider history. He's on his way to the Hall of Fame, but here trying to beat his former teammates and friends. Play action Craig, he throws high, but snared by Davis, and he gains 3. Lionel Washington at the corner to make the tackle for Los Angeles, and here is the Raider defense. Front seven of Long, McLaughlin, Harrison, and Townsend. Wallace, Kelly, and Moss, the linebackers. The secondary of McDaniel and Washington. They'll play a lot of man, and Hoskins and Anderson. Anderson the surest tackler, as Gunther Cunningham, his coach, indicated yesterday. James Trapp, an Olympian in sprint speed, comes in the nickel. Second down for Craig. And it's Allen's first carry, no gain.
There's the pushing and shoving. I mean, I wonder if these two teams take out a day every week when they play each other just to practice the pushing and shoving, you know? He told us that he thought this was the Raiders of the 70s. They always try to intimidate you some way. They do it with that defensive front four and the receiver's speed in 1993.
They show blitz on 3rd and 8. Craig going up on top to Davis, and the ball not close. Well shut off was Davis by Lionel Washington, with Hoskins there to help. So the defense ranked in the top 6 in the league. Both of these defenses shows early for the Raiders.
If Dave Craig has a problem with this Kansas City offense, it's the 5-step drop, and he's real close to the defensive line. Anthony Smith, 94, they're pressuring his face. Craig couldn't follow through completely, therefore the incompletion.
It should be a low-scoring game based on defensive statistics. The Raiders are 4th in the league, and the Chiefs are 6th. Tim Brown about to set the all-time Raider record in punt return yardage. Neil Colsey owns it, just a handful of yards away, and this could do it for Brown. And just as he saw open field, 43-yard line, he's knocked out of bounds on a good, sharp, low tackle. Benny Thompson, one of the stars on the Raider special, or on the Kansas City special teams, as we look at the Raiders offensive lineup. Perry Wisniewski, Mosbar, Montoya, and Wilkerson. Hostetler, the ex-Giant. Robinson, the rookie runner. Smith, the blocker. Tim Brown, the leading receiver. Wright with great speed, and Ethan Horton, the tight end. Montgomery, the rookie, and James Jett, the speedster, come in, and he is a man to fear. Hostetler comes out throwing. Underneath he goes, complete at the Kansas City 46-yard line. Looks to be good enough for a first down.
Well, Dick, you can see the immediate respect of those Kansas City defensive backs laying way off. Here's Carter, 34. See how much room that ace Alexander Wright gets. You have to respect these players these receivers speed for the Los Angeles Raiders. They can run by any defensive back there is in the league, Dick.
But normally a man over the middle, like right there, juggling the ball, there's a defender on him to jar it free, but it took forever for the tackle to be made. It is a first down at the Kansas City 46. Tim Brown in motion. Big hole for Robinson, and the rookie is to the 34-yard line. Robinson from Northeast Louisiana, an 8th-round pick and the leading rusher for the Raiders coming in.
Last week against the Bears, the Raiders rushed for a season-high 179 yards. Part of it was in increasing their offensive line splits, just stretching the defense ever so slightly. Good angles there by the Raiders offensive line, and he picks up an easy 13 yards.
Improving week by week is Robinson. He set all kinds of records at Northeast Louisiana, 22 different rushing records, and he gets the call again this time. Very little. Darren Mickle, number 92, was in on the tackle. Here are the starting front seven. Smith, who had 4 sacks in the first game against the Raiders. Phillips, the ex-Charger. Saliamua, fresh from his home run on Monday night. Derek Thomas, the sacker. Roger Semien and Martz are the linebackers. And Lewis, Carter at the corners. They get the talent of Carter into the corner by moving Kevin Ross from the corner to safety with Martin Bayless. Taylor, Terry, Mincy. When they go to their nickel, they like to use 7 defensive backs at times. Stetler. Wide open, Steve Smith. The flag is down. Smith to the 9. 22 yards if. And Hostetler likes what he hears from the officials holding against.
The underneath. We couldn't get the guy who came up with who was charged with the penalty, but again, Dick, you see linebackers, defensive backs dropping to help with these speedy outside receivers. Look at Kevin Ross, and the receivers underneath are going to get a lot more business now that people are beginning to respect these outside receivers.
First and goal, a very impressive opening drive as Napoleon McCallum has his first carry. And look at the former star at the Naval Academy. Power for yardage to the 4-yard line. Lieutenant McCallum.
We wondered if Knapp knew he was going to be used as much as he was last week. Archell went to him last Wednesday and said, Knapp, can you carry the ball for us? It was intended for him to be there just in short yardage and goal line, but he carried the ball so well that he got more carries than he thought he would. And man, he was a big part of a good rushing game last week in Chicago.
Hit on the 9-yard line, carried all the way to the 4 on that effort. He gets it again. Touchdown! Napoleon McCallum, who hadn't carried the ball in 2 years until his effort against Chicago last Sunday. He scored a touchdown against the Bears, and he gets the first score on the board today for the Raiders. Yeah, Marty Schottenheimer seeing things he doesn't like. He's got a lot to write about as the Raiders moved at will on that drive. 57 yards in only 6 plays. Jager to try the point after, and it's Los Angeles 7, Kansas City 0.
Dick, McCallum scores, but Smith, a huge lead block to assist McCallum into the end zone. Slam dunk for 6.
Blocking backs, they make touchdowns.
And he's one of the best. Watch him. Here's the running back, and here's the contact. Napoleon McCallum is smart enough to follow Steve Smith. Wham! Right there. Neutralizes the linebacker. McCallum in for the score.
Jager kicks it off. The 7-0 lead. Wynn holding it up is Jones on the return. Did he go down? No whistle. And we'll see if they mark it. No, apparently he was able to brace himself and almost on the second effort shot free for a long run. Fred Jones. Patrick Bates got him to the turf.
Nice little job of hurdling here by Jones. He sees all the mess there, hurdles over, puts his hand out. Whoa, wait a minute.
Down, but maybe not by contact. Maybe they felt that Raider didn't initiate the blow that forced the grounding.
A few years ago we would have had after further review, but we don't anymore. So the return stands.
From the 37-yard line. Give it to Marcus. A tough 3-yard gain. The Kansas City Chiefs taking the opening kickoff, and they went 3 and out, and then the Raiders just stuffed it down the field in a hurry, averaging 9.5 yards per play, and scored in a very easy manner against one of the better defenses in the league.
Since we've got a close-up there of Marcus Allen, last night in our conversation when you asked him memorable games, his response was heart-rendering. He said, the last game I played in RFK Stadium in Washington last year, all my teammates said goodbye. That game of all that I played meant the most to me.
As a Raider. Allen again. Not much, maybe 2. Marcus Allen, who played 4 years, of course, here with Southern California, still holds the NCAA record for 200-yard games. 11 times Marcus Allen gained that many yards, and then 11 years as a Raider, and now after 16 seasons plays here as a non-home team participant.
And he's starting and playing because Harvey Williams has been deactivated today, not because of injury. He's fine, he's healthy, but Marty Schottenheimer needs other players.
Well, 3rd and long again for Dave Craig. Oh, Chester McLaughlin.
Davis is open.
Free play for Craig. He's got his tight end downfield, and out of bounds goes Keith Cash. And flags down, and they're whistling that play dead in the midst of the action.
Then there must have been encroachment, which is contact.
Encroachment prior to the snap, defensive end, 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
So McLaughlin made contact.
If he's in the neutral zone, it's allowed. If there is contact, it's called encroachment. And if it's encroachment, then, well, we can't see if there's contact. He's right over Zott, 79, the left guard, but see if we can see it from here, whether or not he makes contact with 79. Well, I don't know. You don't see the guard move at all.
So instead of a long gain downfield,
72 as reported as an eligible receiver. 72 is an eligible receiver.
Danny Villa from Arizona State is an eligible receiver. Remember, in the first game against the Raiders, Kansas City scored a touchdown. Montana to Joe Valerio alignment. It's Craig straight ahead, needed a yard for a 1st down after the 5-yard penalty, and apparently got it.
Dick, what Kansas City has to do here today is keep out of pass rush situations. They've got the function.
Raiders 2nd in the NFL in sacks with 28, one behind New Orleans starting today. The pitch back to Craig, and Craig going long for Davis. Whoa! Double covered, but Willie Davis had a shot at it. McDaniel and Washington, the 2 corners, converging on Davis. They were not fooled.
From behind the defense, the handoff, the pitch back, you see Davis bottom corner of the screen. This is about as far as Dave Craig can throw it, but excellent coverage, and it is very unusual that the 2 corners converge to be there to knock the ball away from the receiver. Washington underneath, McDaniel on top. Davis still has a chance at it.
Winds are gusting up to 40 miles an hour. It's going to be a tough read on those long passes. Allen twists out of trouble. Oh, is that some pretty running to gain about 5 when there didn't seem to be a thing there for him. He's into Raider territory at the 47.
He has already carried the ball coming into this game 100 times so far this season for the Kansas City Chiefs, as you see this coming right at you. And he went to Marty Schottenheimer this week and said, look, don't worry about my physical well-being. I can carry it 100 times over the last 8 games of the season. Don't worry, I'm fine. Now, here's a guy who is willing to commit just about anything physically to this Kansas City Chiefs team.
Marcus leads the Chiefs with 354 yards coming in. Only 3.9 yard average. The pass complete to Fred. Tim Barnett it is. Tim Barnett, but he's denied the 1st down on a solid hit by Lionel Washington.
Well, that's beautifully timed by Washington. He lets Barnett make the break, make the catch, puts a helmet right in his kidneys. Again from behind the defense. 3-step drop. Watch this hit. Head in front of the receiver so he can't make any more ground downfield. Excellent tackle, Lionel Washington, and that's why there's pushing and shoving.
4th down and 1. As Brian Barker comes in, Tim Brown back at the 10-yard line.
Nice place for a fake punt here. They call timeout, or was it delay of game?
Delay of game, offense.
And Tim Brown says we'll decline the penalty. Brown, who needed only 14 yards in punt return yardage today to pass Neil Colsey.
Penalty is declined. 4th down.
He got 6 yards on the first attempt, so he now is 8 away from Colsey's record. He already has the all-time Raider mark for most punts returned. Tough to read the wind. It really swirls here at the Coliseum. Brown lets it kick into the end zone, and the Raiders won't get it at the 20-yard line. 44-yard punt, 24 net. Time up. And the Hall of Fame, Walk of Fame in Hollywood. And there's a couple of stars. One of them on the right, Bob Golick, you'll see on Tuesday night at 8. Saved by the Bell, the college year. James Garner, longtime Raider fan, was on the left side of the picture, sporting a mustache. Robinson on 1st down, twisting for 6 yards. And we have a report now from Jim Lampley. What a story with your 3rd-string quarterback, a man who won his first NFL game in 1963, 30 years ago, 31 seasons. Robinson, for a couple, is knocked down shy of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd and about a yard and a half.
Congratulations to Don Shula. He has done it with a lot of different people, a lot of different ways.
Is there any player that you know of that wouldn't have wanted to play for Don Shula?
No. As mean and as fiery as he can be when you do something wrong. No, because he always treated everybody, he still treats everybody fairly. And that's all you can ask as a player.
Leading 7-0 the Raiders with 4.5 minutes remaining, 1st quarter. This is 3rd and a long 1. Steve Smith has the 1st down. So they're using Smith, the fullback, more. Tracy Simeon, the tackler. The Raiders, who had trouble running the football the first half of this season, and then it was awakened last week in Chicago. Let's take a look at it. First 7 games, averaging just 3 yards a carry, 78 yards a game. That won't get it done. But last week against the Bears, a good defense, the average up to 4.5 and 179 yards total.
And Dick, those numbers and the yards per carry mean time of possession, which always favors an offense.
Play action for Hostetler. Lots of time underneath. He throws to Robinson, and incomplete. As a jarring tackle, Neil Smith and Tracy Rogers.
Control anyway. He is not going to throw the ball around in chance interception very often. He'll take that underneath.
But you can see again those safeties, Bayless and Ross, are backpedaling from the get-go. Robinson through a big hole, and a 1st down out at the 48-yard line. A flag is down. 15 yards if it counts.
Offside, 90 defense. Penalties declined. 1st down.
Ron Blum is our referee today.
Well, so far at the outset, you can see what happens up here. Both these guys across the line of scrimmage, but you can see that they both jump, and then Neil Smith gets caught inside by Gerald Perry, and Robinson is right through there. You see how deep Kevin Ross is? That's the inexperience of free safety, backing up on every play.
Raiders averaging 6.5 a carry, 8 tries, 52 yards rushing. And he looked to be offside again. Derek Thomas this time. Whoa, what a hit as Napoleon McCallum is twisted sideways. But Thomas appeared to be into the backfield of the Raiders prematurely.
offside, 58 defense. A penalty is accepted. Repeat first down.
So Thomas ticketed for 5 yards. It'll be first down and 5 at the Kansas City 47.
This certainly destroys a defense when you've got one guy taken away from the line of scrimmage. It's easy to run the ball, and you've got the other Kevin Ross, the safety, 15, 20 yards deep. Missing a couple of guys there to support on the run, Dick.
Meanwhile, the Raiders very impressive. The first drive, they just hurried it downfield in 6 plays for a touchdown, and nothing close to being stopped yet. Hostetler over the middle, complete to Tim Brown. Brown's first catch, first down at the 30.
If I were Jeff Hostetler, I'd rely on Tim Brown too. In our conversation yesterday with Fred Biletnikoff, he said that this was collectively the best group of receivers the Los Angeles Raiders have ever had. I mean, when you consider speed, when you consider discipline, the work ethic, these 5 young kids actually, he said they're going to be dynamite in several years.
Well, it's certainly the fastest group in NFL history. And there's Neil Smith again before the snap. Monday night, it was the defense that won the game for Kansas City against Green Bay.
False start, 71 offense prior to the snap.
So Gerald
5
Perry
yards,
this
repeat
time.
Instead of going on 2, they're going on 3, just to slow down the defense a little bit.
First down, Robinson. Some good running, but too many white shirts. Tracy Simeon and Albert Lewis collaborate, and Lewis, the lanky corner, good shoulder tackle. Spotted at the 32-yard line, where it'll be second down and about 11 and a half.
Kansas City bringing in all the defensive backs they own. I mean, they brought a bunch of them in here, Dick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got 7 defensive backs in the ball game.
Hostetler 3 for 4 in this opening quarter, 50 yards. Looked like early movement again, and then the tackle made by Darren Mickle, but he appeared to be the man offside.
Yep. I think the Raiders have changed the snap count here, Dick. Slowed things down.
Offside, 97 defense, 5 yards, repeat second down.
They call it on Sally Amua. And let's take a look now at the natural gas quarterback efficiency ratings. Joe Montana helping out in the coach's booth upstairs today. Scott Mitchell, injured in the game against Philadelphia, had the top numbers going into this first game of the second half of the season. Asias and Elway. Hostetler in 8th place. So another 5-yard, free 5 yards for Hostetler on the offside. Complete to Tim Brown. Raiders at will moving the ball.
Starts with pass protection, Dick. Good time for Hostetler to look around. This is just a simple square in pattern. You see how precise Tim Brown is cutting that off. Breaks right straight down the line. Keeps that defensive back away and away from the rush coming from the inside, and another nice completion. 2
for Brown today to give him 33. He's the top pass catcher in the Raiders scheme. And a very happy man today, as are all those who cheer for the Notre Dame Irish after their classic win against Florida State yesterday. It was indeed living up to all of the banner.
That was nice. That was fun to watch.
That's our role.
Okay.
Toss to McCallum. And he's inside the 10-yard line. Kevin Ross makes the hit. Final play, first quarter. Raiders 7, Kansas City nothing. Before we go to the second quarter action, this is Monday Night Defense, and look at this hit by Sally Amua. A memorable tackle that forces the ball free, denies Green Bay a score, and Kansas City's defense steps up to give them a win. But today, Marty Schottenheimer not finding that kind of result. It's the Raiders running and passing at will, 124 to 16 yards in the first quarter. Second down. It's McCallum up the middle, and he carries tacklers inside the 5, close to a first down near the 3.
So Marty Schottenheimer yells at the defense, and there's another flag. Don't know who it's on. But the one thing I can tell you is when you have a division opponent you play twice a year, Dick, you get used to their snap count. The players out there who are veterans know it. It appears to me that the Raiders have inserted a word or a number, offside again, something to disrupt what the Kansas City Chiefs think is the normal snap count for the Los Angeles Raiders.
It's got to be just totally puzzling Schottenheimer. I mean, these are men trained at their craft, and about the last thing you expect, it's almost a mental error to be offside or drawn offside.
Absolutely. But you do get in a habit. I mean, you try to anticipate the snap count as best you possibly can.
I mean, 4 offsides on this drive. Yeah. I mean, Pop Warner teams don't have that kind of difficulty. So Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator, and Schottenheimer, whose strength is on the defensive side of the ball.
Offside, 90 defense. The penalty will be accepted. 5 yards, repeat, second down.
I mean, how do you even go to your team and say, hey? And on the other hand, you don't want to be back on your horses either.
The Raiders have Dave Adolph's defense at a disadvantage here because they'll be slow off the ball now. That's a tremendous advantage to the offensive line for the Raiders.
You saw the advantage, 124-16 in yards gained after a quarter.
And Dick, the other half of this formula is the Raiders can then go back to their normal snap count, and all of a sudden Kansas City doesn't know what to do on the defensive front.
Well, they take half the distance to the goal line, so it is saving a down, 2nd and a long 1. Stetler changing plays. It's McCallum. And a good defensive surge from Kansas City. Bayless coming up to support along with Lonnie Martz as Sally Amua down off the bottom of the pile.
They didn't move anybody much there.
Tough to move the concrete man, Sally Amua.
Remember several weeks ago we talked to Steve Smith, the blocking back for the Raiders, and he said low man wins when it comes to these blocks. Hard to get under Dan Sally Amua now.
6 feet, 300 plus. Todd Pete, number 64, 305-pounder, is a eligible receiver. 3rd and 1. Oh, it looked like Smith was going forward. Napoleon McCallum fumbles, and who's got it at the 1-yard line? Oh. Kansas City, just as they did Monday night. The defense denying the opposition a big score inside the 5. Albert Lewis recovered the ball. Let's see who made the hit.
From behind the defense, we should be able to see here Smith with the lead block. It's Rogers, Tracy Rogers. He got hammered by Smith on the last touchdown. Albert Lewis picks up the ball, 1st and 99.5 for Kansas City.
Ali Amua on Monday night denying a touchdown the Packers, and today Tracy Rogers with a critical takeaway as the Raiders threatening to make it 14-0. This is what happens. Kansas City in their wins plus 44 in the turnover table, and they're a minus 13 in their 14 losses in the last 3 years.
Last week they had 6 turnovers, resulted in 20 of the 23 points they scored against Minnesota.
From the 1-yard line, Dave Craig, who is 2 for 4 passing for 5 yards. The Raiders had just gone 76 yards, nothing to show for it. Up the middle, the fullback Kimball Anders, a gain of 4, a little room for Kansas City, a lot of room from here to Mike Holmgren's team moves within 2 of the Central leaders. Detroit, the Lions are 7-2, and New Orleans drops to 6-3. The 49ers now tied with New Orleans for the lead in the West of the NFC. 2nd and 6. Over the middle to the 15 and a 1st down. Barnett with a 1st down.
Hassan Jones just on the little slant. Washington giving him just a little bit too much room. That was an excellent throw by Dave Craig. Perfect timing there.
Hassan Jones, the veteran from Florida State, the ex-Viking, his 7th catch of the year. Marcus Allen stepping up to hear the play call, and it's Allen who gets it. Straight ahead to the 19-yard line, a gain of a little more than 3. Winston Moss and Derek Hoskins collaborate. Marcus Davis held 3 yards a carry, 5 tries, 15 total. Craig changing the play. Batted right back in his face. And Craig, one disadvantage he's always had is the fact that he's not as tall as some quarterbacks. You get those big linemen, most of them 4, 5, 6 inches taller than you are. And McLaughlin and Harrison coming right into his face.
He even admitted to us that part of this offense that they run with Joe Montana is that he's not as far away from the defensive line. 5 quick setup steps. He really doesn't have the real high release of the ball, and you see Chester McLaughlin gets his hand up there and knocks the ball away.
McLaughlin, a 315-pounder from Clemson in his second season. Boy, can he move for a man of his size. Craig has a man off the fingertips of Willie Davis, and a flag is down. And this one could be against the Raiders with a contact after 5 yards.
Dick, I also noticed the Raiders now appear to have, watch the signal here. I think you're right. Holding against the defense. It now appears that they have a super pass rush package they put on the defensive line because Townsend, Anthony Smith, Harrison, and Howie Long were all in there to put pressure. That's the first time we've seen those 4 in combination to get to the quarterback. See if we can pick up what happened on the
Holding 46 defense, 5 yards, first down.
That's Torrin Doran. The Kansas City Chiefs had twins. Doran is right here. Willie Davis takes Hassan Jones takes the inside release, and there Doran holds him up. Kansas City tries to run a little pick. Good call by the officials.
So 3rd down, that gives the Craig-led Chiefs a first down. Bubble by Marcus Allen. Aaron Wallace had it. Pop free, but the Raiders control. Terry McDaniel following Aaron Wallace.
They run the weak side sweep. It's coming right at you. Good block, Kimball Anders, 38. McDaniel strips it away. Aaron Wallace with the recovery.
Wallace had it slid underneath him, then he may have gotten it on the 2nd try. So the fumble given right back by Marcus. Marcus Allen, no one hurts more now than Allen trying to get all he could out of that run, and Terry McDaniel, his buddy, former friend, the Raiders stripped him with a solid tackle. The Raiders take over at the 33, and Hostetler looks for something big. Well covered was Ethan Horton and Martin Bayless right there for Kansas City.
Well, again, now the Raiders going to send anybody and everybody deep that's a receiver just to threaten the defense. Good time for Hostetler to throw here. Not a play action fake. Excellent protection. He's waiting. Well, Derek Thomas finally gets in his chest, but Ethan Horton, a big receiver. Bayless underneath to knock the ball away.
Horton had to play the role of defender to knock it away from Bayless to deny the interception. So Hostetler is 4 for 6, 64 yards. Toss to Robinson. Breaking tackles to the 20 and a first down. Kevin Ross finally got him.
Well, those widened splits that they discovered there, you see between center and guard how much room, and you also tend to see the Kansas City Chiefs trying to make penetration across the line of scrimmage. So the offensive line is going to have some angles on these people. Great run by Robinson.
Here's a young man who's averaging only 3 yards a carry the first 7 games. Improved that a bit last week. It would move to his season average up to 3.2, and now he's almost 8 yards a shot today against Kansas City. 54 yards total. They don't get it off. Did he call time before the clock?
No, flag is thrown in the end zone, so it is going to be delay of game.
So the Raiders have spent not their first time out. This is delay of game unless Hostetler is going to call a time, which is his prerogative as well.
Now wait a minute, he's going.
Los Angeles.
Whoa, wait a minute! Look in the end zone. There's a flag down. It's laying on the ground.
You can still take time out, and then you have a penalty as well. The officials picked up the flag, although it was apparent that the clock had run out, the play clock. So it's just a timeout, no penalty. And Robinson Robinson. They're just beating the Chiefs at the corners. Great blocking again, and Robinson rumbles for 12 more. Yes, Steve Smith is the man throwing the key block.
And Ethan Horton, 288. This kid is beginning to run the ball a lot like Marcus Allen used to do with the Los Angeles Raiders back in the early 80s. Great acceleration the first 2 or 3 or 4 steps around that corner. And that Steve Smith again, just hammering people at the line of scrimmage. Good escort for Greg Robinson.
3 possessions for the Raiders. 3 times they've had first and goal. They've scored. They fumbled at the Kansas City 1-yard line, and now first and goal from the 9. Leading 7-0. McCallum for a couple. Defensive left side of the Chiefs line there to make the stop. Terry Robisky aside head coach Art Shell. Shell, a teammate of Marcus Allen back in the early 80s up in Oakland. Tyrone Montgomery comes into the backfield for Robinson, and they like to throw to Montgomery.
Well, they're trying to have more than one guy replace Marcus Allen in this offense. He used to do both, run and also be a receiver.
And second and goal. Down the middle, wide open, Ethan Horton. His first touchdown of the year. So after the Marcus Allen fumble at the Kansas City 33, the Raiders strike quickly. It's Haas to Horton, 8 yards on the payoff.
It started with the fumble by Marcus Allen, unfortunately, for Marcus Allen.
Jeff Jager, the try for point. Now again an offside. Dale Carter was going to kick it the other way. It was teed up, and Carter was going to kick it with the left foot. And understandably, an issue has been raised.
But I like Carter's choice here. You're going to fight with somebody on the Raiders, take on the kicker.
And the holder.
And the holder.
I guess it's not funny when you're down there scrambling, but Carter saw it teed up, figured I'll just kick it the other way.
Yeah, believe me, though, he will take a lot of heat from his teammates for trying to take on the kicker and the holder.
Teed up. Here comes 34 Carter. He's mad because Gossett pulled it away from him.
He loosied him. He pulled it away.
The old backyard trick.
Yes. Yes. That's not fair, Carter says.
Encroachment 46 defense. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Repeat the try.
So another encroachment offside line of scrimmage penalty against Kansas City.
And they called it on Benny Thompson, not on Dale Carter.
Yeah, Thompson was in there first, then Carter just followed his team. Let's see who kicks this one. Gossett sets it up. Jager boots it through. It's 14-0.
Get back to the touchdown. One of the secrets that made it work is that nobody held up Ethan Horton. He had a free release from the line of scrimmage. You see, Hostetler did a great job. He looked away the free safety, who was Kevin Ross, throws it right to the tight end for the score.
See him in Los Angeles. So windy that the blimp we'd hoped to have with us today, a beautiful clear day, unable to go airborne. After the 5-yard penalty, Jager just hits that skyrocket into the end zone for the touchback. And there's Ethan Horton, drafted by Kansas City, their #1 pick back in '85, his first touchdown this year.
Here he is, free release, but watch the influence that Hostetler has on Kevin Ross. You're going to see Hostetler go back, look to the right, then when he comes back, he just stares at Kevin Ross, freezes Ross, opens Horton, easy 6. That's the inexperienced free safety Kevin Ross, great cornerback. That's part of the learning curve that he has to go through.
And we talked to Kevin Ross before the game today, and I said, you called Duron Cherry? He said, yes, last week. And Duron said, make sure you see the ball before you come up to tackle. And he said, I talked to Montana, and Montana said, well, you got to watch what they'll do to you. And that quarterback just looked him away. Craig underneath to Willie Davis, and it appears Davis their go-to man today, as most of the passes have been directed at the 2-year man from Central Arkansas.
Terry McDaniel was the man in coverage. You see how far off he is. He's looking through the receiver to the quarterback. Reads the break. That's still a nice pickup, though. First down yardage for the Kansas City Chiefs, who basically at this point are lucky to be just 14 points down. Should be 21, so they can stay with their same game plan. They don't have to do something stupid or foolish here this early.
Allen, the tailback, Jones in motion. And it's the reverse to Hassan Jones. No, it's Fred Jones that goes across the 40 and a first down at the 42. Fred and Hassan, 80-81, not related. Jones, the carrier here from Grambling. Longest play of the half, 13 yards. 68,000 sold out. First game televised here in Los Angeles in a couple of years. Todd McNair gets a chance, and he plows to midfield, a gain of nearly 8 more before Derek Hoskins, number 20, from his safety spot, can make the stop. Chiefs' #1 pass catcher, 155 catches the last 4 years, but this year only 1. Second and short. Craig pumps and then into the flat. And it's McNair again, his second catch, and a first down at the Raider 40-yard line. Winston Moss makes the stop.
Craig does a good job here. Part of this offense is recognizing where the coverage is, and there's always an outlet available. This is the square end. Look at it. He sets. He really doesn't have very good fundamentals there throwing it because his hips are open, but he does make the completion. And again, at the perimeter of the defense, another first down pickup for Kansas City.
Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, learned the system under Bill Walsh. 3 years with the 49ers in the early 80s. The toss to Marcus Allen. Well read by the Raiders, no gain. Check it, it's McNair. McNair gets the carry here. So they give Marcus Allen a breather.
Now, when you fumble, when you play for Kansas City, yeah, you do get a breather.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're on your way to the Hall of Fame or not for Marty Schottenheimer.
There is nothing he hates more than putting the ball on the ground, even as great as number 32 is.
Second and 10, Kansas City trailing 14-0 with 5:48 left in the first half. Joe Kelly and Howie Long on the tackle. Kelly, they're very happy with Joe Kelly, an unrestricted free agent from the New York Jets this year.
As a matter of fact, Gunther Cunningham, the defense coordinator, when you ask him how about the bright spots for this defense, he included Joe Kelly. Caught onto this defense quickly, making a lot of calls. There's the defensive coordinator. Gunther Cunningham likes it a lot. Now, Dick, they got that hybrid pass rush unit in there now. Howie Long is in there with Harrison, Townsend, and it looks like Anthony Smith, yes.
Craig has to throw it away.
Let me tell you, that front four that was in there, they will flush a lot of quarterbacks in this league. You can see from bottom to top, that's Townsend, Long, Harrison, and Smith. And these guys are absolute phenoms when it comes to the pass rush.
Marcus Allen was the man who came back to pick off Howie Long to give Craig a little more time. Well, that's great when you can get that kind of pass rush from just 4 men. That really makes that pass defense all the stronger.
Does it ever? Yes, 7 in coverage, and
that's why they're #1 in the league in pass defense. They're going to go for it on 4th and 7, trailing 14-0. Underneath, and that's going to be good enough for the first down. Willie Davis again, tackled by Torn Dorn. That's a big play for Kansas City. Marty needs Schottenheimer and his Chiefs need something out of this drive. Boy. It could be 21-0, even a field goal for Kansas City.
Yeah, look at what they do here. They flood the area, and they got the outside receiver coming in. It's almost like natural picks, although Barnett 82, and they really don't make contact, but an excellent throw by Craig. That's a nice 4th down pickup, and that's great confidence in the offense to get the job done.
Well, he figured the punt, the way things are going, you kick it in the end zone, it would only been 13, 14 yards.
Good choice.
There are the numbers on Dave Craig. intended for Tim Barnett.
Oh, Craig gave up on that just an instant too soon, Dick. He was going to go away from Barnett. You see him when he sets up. He says he's not open. Now watch at the end here. He says, no, he's not open. Oh, yes, he is. He's looking at Barnett all the way. No, no. Oh, if he'd have just stayed in there for that split second longer, that was still awfully close to a completion.
Off the fingertips of Tim Barnett.
He starts out looking right, comes back left. They kind of sensed a little pressure there.
Anders in motion. Could be some offsides, and up the middle goes McNair. As looking past, they go run and pick up 9 yards before Winston Moss and Lionel Washington can make the stop. So McNair is a tight end on the left side, an eligible receiver. Now Keith Cash moves to a wing right. Now back left. Up the middle, Marcus Allen. He has the first down at the 16-yard line.
You may not have heard us say it a couple, 3 weeks ago, but I was shocked to hear with all that Marcus Allen is praised for doing, receiving, running the ball. Marty thinks he's the best short yardage running back he's ever seen or coached against in the history of the NFL. This is for a guy who is, what, 210? I mean, there are a lot of running backs who are a lot bigger and a lot stronger, and Marty thinks he's one of the best.
He's not a Larry Zonka type that gets in there and plows, but you rarely get a solid hit on Marcus Allen. So first down outside the 16. A little misdirection, the give to Anders, and only to the 15-yard line. Well read by Nolan Harrison, 74, budding giant in the middle of that.
Play this game with your strength and ability, and Howie is a great teacher.
That's right. It doesn't hurt to have him playing beside you. Approaching the 2-minute warning. Craig underneath. Took it Anders, and it's a touchdown. Kimball Anders, 15-yard play. And for Dave Craig, that breaks a tie on the all-time touchdown list. He was tied with Terry Bradshaw and Y.A. Tittle. David Craig, Milton College, with those names, and he moves ahead.
First plane ride he ever took was to Seattle to sign his contract. The first playbook he ever had was a professional playbook from the Seattle Seahawks, and they played that beautifully. Joe Kelly, the middle linebacker, I think is the guy who was supposed to be the man in coverage, and Kimball Anders went right by him.
213th career touchdown throw by Craig. He's now a number 11 all-time in the history of the NFL. Nick Lowry adds the extra point, and immediately ahead, John Brody, one ahead of Dave Craig as he continues to climb. Of all the great players in NFL history, he might be the least known for what he has accomplished. 14-7 the score. University of Houston Cougar, where he played with Andre Ware in that backfield. Kimball Anders, it's a big moment for him, his first ever NFL score, a 15-yard play to cap an impressive 80-yard drive by the Kansas City Chiefs. Now it's Rocket Ismail and Alexander Wright, two dangerous return men waiting for the kickoff from Nick Lowry, and they'll just wait and shift at the last moment, and it's Ismail to Lowry's left, and that's where the ball is aimed. Wynn takes it into the end zone, and Rocket will kneel, and the touchback at the 20-yard line, and that's the 2-minute warning. It comes with 1:54 remaining in the opening half. Review that with all the scores and highlights. Lampley and Ditka. What was Ditka? Is he wearing designer clothes by Salvador Dali? What is that? That he was.
He's going to call you again.
No, I'm just. I'm the guy out in the West Coast. Remember? It's reviewing. Robinson to the 24-yard line. Neil Smith makes the stop. We'll see how the Raiders play it with the lead. 14-7. The score certainly is misleading, isn't it? The way the Raiders have seemed to dominate, yet lead by only 7. And Schottenheimer calls time.
Number 1.
The Bee Gees, Donna Summer, Meatloaf, KC, and the Sunshine Band, Gloria Gaynor, Olivia Newton-John, my favorite in the cast from the Brady Bunch. A 70s celebration. That'll be a lot of fun. Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, 7 Central. They're leaping just at the thought of that here in Los Angeles. Actually, you've never seen John Faratzis before. That's as close as we can let you get to our executive producer. Hostetler underneath to Horton. They hooked up on the touchdown that made it 14-0, and Horton a first down at the 38-yard line. Dale Carter on the coverage.
Kansas City hoping to. Well, we got a timeout again. This time for the Raiders, Dick.
Don't get in the way of this upcoming commercial, Bob. Slow down. 6 seconds to go in the half. The Raiders have used their second timeout. There's the timeout situation. We saw a shot of Marty Schottenheimer, and that reminds us that his quarterback in the playoff years while he was in Cleveland, Bernie Kosar, with a big move to Dallas, and Kosar has thrown a touchdown pass for the Cowboys.
Right? No kidding.
First half, they moved out 17-0 against Phoenix. Hostetler has had only 2 hit the ground, 6 for 8. Oh, what a move to elude the rush, and completes it out at the 48-yard line. Horton again. He came into this game the number 2 Raider receiver with 22. Has 3 today.
Dick, Hostetler has a great sense of what's happening around him. Neil Smith with the left arm steps up at tight end underneath again. There to make the reception very close. Jaime Fields almost knocked that one away.
Into the flat to Steve Smith, and they keep him in bounds. That was a good defensive play by Lonnie Martz, number 51, to take the sideline away, and that forces Hostetler to hurry his team up to the line of scrimmage. They'd like to save the timeout in case they move close enough to get the field goal unit on. Montgomery's or check that Robinson. He's had a big first half. Down to the 40-yard line goes the rookie.
Well, late flag came in there, Dick.
Jaime Fields made the tackle. Fields getting some duty here. He's the 4th-round pick out of Washington, number 59.
Motioning that it's against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it also stops the clock.
Five-yard face mask, 59 defense.
Well, Fields got something he shouldn't have. Not flagrant, but 5 yards, and more importantly for the Raiders, stops the clock with 38 seconds, saves them a timeout. So they are now in field goal range. A long one by Jaeger, who has a couple of 53-yarders this year. About 52 from where they now stand. Hostetler again, plenty of time. And throws complete to Tim Brown, coming back to meet the ball. No, it's Ismail. Rocket Ismail doing a good job. That's a Biletnikoff play if you ever saw one. How many times did we see LaMonica to Biletnikoff, that kind of play, or Stabler to Biletnikoff, coming back to meet the ball?
Should just spike it. I think he's going to try to run a play here, Dick.
On top he goes, off the hands of James Jett. He may have been shielded from the ball as Dale Carter was covering, and that's with 3 seconds to go. The field goal unit comes on.
You know, Jett does a great job here. He doesn't indicate to Carter that the ball is coming. A lot of times defensive backs, see, he's just looking up, doesn't put his arms up until the last second.
The ball was there.
Yeah, tries to deceive the defensive back, and it almost worked.
Hostetler had already gone into his touchdown celebration. So Jaeger fairly short. This will be 35 yards. Has missed only 2 this year.
This is a 40-second timeout.
One of the Chiefs just walked in and grabbed the football.
Like Benny Thompson thought, well, just maybe no one's looking. I'll just take it and run it the other way.
Benny, if you want to have an autograph, we got some on the sideline.
Jaeger from University of Washington, so consistent. 35 yards. And it is good. Just did slip through the left side. End of the half, 17-7 Raiders. So the Los Angeles Raiders battling to tie Kansas City for first in the West, lead by 2. The Raiders leading 17-7. Biggest play in my mind of that first half was the hit by Tracy Rogers that knocked the ball free from Napoleon McCallum, or well, it could have been 24-7.
Yeah, I think the overview of the first half is the Raiders have pretty much done offensively anything and everything they want. The Kansas City Chiefs it's like pulling teeth to get the ball down the field. They got 127 yards total offense in the first half, and 80 of it came on their scoring drive, and it included a 4th down and 7. So this has not been an easy first half for Kansas City. Been a very easy first half for the Raiders.
Well, Jeff Gossett, the punter for the Los Angeles Raiders, all he's had to do is hold it for Jeff Jager. Hasn't had to kick yet, and that just shows you the Raiders unstoppable at least the first 30 minutes.
And you know, so many people deal on the intricacies of the game, when I think a big factor in the very early stages of the game was the changing of the snap count by the Raiders. They caught Kansas City offsides 4 times in the first half. That's the only 4 penalties that Kansas City had in the first half. And Dick, I think it slowed down their defense, their front wall. It's given Hostetler a little more time, and I also think that it's given them a little better ability to run the ball.
Let's take a look at the Coors Light halftime statistics. Black and silver bullet it is for the Los Angeles Raiders, as they almost 2-to-1 in yardage gain.
And remember again that 80 yards for Kansas City came on 1 drive. This rushing yards, they need a lot more of that. But then in the last couple of 3 weeks, Dick, the Raiders defense has been absolutely outstanding. I mean, you can't take anything away from their defense. They are controlling the line of scrimmage and really making it difficult for any offense to generate yards down the field.
There's the veteran hub, the axle of that defense, Howie Long. They're 4th best in the league and 1st against the pass. Nick Lowry kicks it off toward the western end as we open the second half with Rocket Ismail and Greg Robinson deep for the Raiders. And with the wind that carries almost through the end zone, denying Ismail the touchback at the 20. Jeff Hostetler, in his possessions in the first half, very productive. A touchdown, then a fumble at the 1-yard line of the Chiefs. Another touchdown to Horton and a field goal in the final minute and a half.
And Dick, we've seen in the first half receivers open all over the place for the Raiders. I mean, almost at will. Hostetler's been able to find open receivers. Very respectable numbers with this wind.
Jeff, who's alma mater, the Mountaineers of West Virginia, still unbeaten. First year of a $7.5 million 3-year deal with the Raiders, and he's been a good fit. Greg Robinson, and twisted down by Jaime Fields, who's playing because of Tracy Rogers' injury. Fields, who played for the national champion Huskies a couple of years ago, a 4th-round pick. He's 5'11" and 230.
And the report on Tracy Rogers is the reemergence of a stinger in his shoulder. When he made that hit on McCallum at the goal line, kind of stung his shoulder a little bit. We don't know if he'll return or not. There's Tracy Rogers on the sideline.
No gain on first down. Rogers leading Kansas City in tackles in the first half of the season. Good protection again for Hostetler, and Brown hit immediately, a 5-yard pickup. Fields again. So you can see what the Raiders are doing, knowing Rogers is out, going after the rookie.
They're going underneath to, I believe, set up the deep speed. Watch Derek Thomas on Gerald Perry. 58 on 71. That patented outside rush. Robinson helps out. That's the block they refer to in the NFL as chipping. You engage that big pass rusher, and then the running back just knocks him off his stride.
3rd and 5. Robinson with Steve Smith. And Tim Brown in motion. Again, lots of time. And a completion to Horton. No, they wave it off. They say he tracked it. And Hostetler certainly didn't see it that way.
Hostetler lobbying hard. Crossing pattern by the tight end. Oh, I think he caught it. I think Hostetler has every right to complain. Again.
You can see why they waved it off from that angle. The juggle as he's coming to the ground. And does he get his hands back under it before the ball and the catcher made with the ground being a factor? And Hostetler from long range wanted, of course, the first down. Gossett is first of the game off the side of the foot, and will go out of bounds around the 40-yard line, make it the 42 of the Chiefs. Gossett, who's been averaging just under 43 a punt, gets only 33 on that one. after all the hype and emotion spent yesterday. Florida State still has a couple of weeks away from the University of Florida. Pass almost intercepted. It was intended for Davis, knocked in the air, and Derek Hoskins closest to it. North Carolina State will get the Seminoles next Saturday.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dick, that was excellent coverage on the receivers. Terry McDaniel, 36, top of the screen. He is stride for stride again, looking through the receiver back to the quarterback. So when he sees the quarterback set up to throw, he knows exactly when to break. Almost a big pickoff there for Derek Hoskins.
17-7. Raiders just opening the second half. First Kansas City chance. And Marcus Allen had a hole but tripped up. Number 91, Chester McLaughlin, had one of those meaty forearms down and away and knocked Marcus off his feet. Looked as if there was some yardage there.
Well, what a play by McLaughlin. When we talked to Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator, yesterday, the first point he made about his defense is we have great size inside. And McLaughlin, at over 300 pounds with great mobility, boy, he is hard to shove anywhere on that defensive line. Huge play there.
For those looking for a big story, Marcus Allen back to the Coliseum and having a huge game. Not so far. 8 carries, 22 yards, and a fumble for Allen. On third down, Craig downfield to Davis, and Davis to the 30-yard line. That's the biggest play of the day for Kansas City, 29 yards.
Well, that was nice pass protection. Craig was in the rocking chair there. No pressure whatsoever from behind the defense. Good job done by the guys up front. And he also puts enough air underneath the ball that Davis can run underneath it. A crossing pattern. Davis runs from the far side of the field, coming in motion. You see the zone coverage by the Raiders. They let him go through. Very well executed by Kansas City.
Yeah, the beauty of this league. 2 free agents involved there. Craig, a free agent. Davis, a free agent pick. And both stars. Underneath, incomplete this time. Intended for the tight end, Jonathan Hayes. Doesn't get many chances. Hayes, diabetic. Talked to him before the game. He takes about 3 shots, injected himself of insulin per day. He's written the book, and he talks to young people who have that same problem. Jonathan Hayes, an inspiration in the Kansas City area to those afflicted with diabetes.
As a matter of fact, didn't Art Shell have a bout with diabetes in the offseason?
Type 2. It doesn't require insulin injections, but a warning. Second down and 10. And Big Chester, hard to miss you.
Yeah, he draws 1, 2, 3, 4 flags with that encroachment there.
That doesn't even make a handkerchief for him. Well, I think he's going to be a terrific. I mean, he's already an outstanding young player. He has stardom written on him.
Encroachment, nose tackle, 5 yards, repeat second down.
He doesn't like people talking to him, writing about him, but he has done one thing very smart. He's moved in with Howie Long.
Give is to Anders, and caught by a jersey and ripped down. Aaron Wallace makes the play.
Well, that was going nowhere.
That's the same Aaron Wallace who had the jersey of Joe Montana in the first game at Arrowhead, and Montana came up lame with a hamstring injury.
This is played beautifully. Jonathan Hayes is the blocker who's trying to do something with him, and Aaron Wallace just gets around the shoulder. Anders has no place to go. Loss of 4 yards on that carry. Yeah, Aaron Wallace, not the most loved Los Angeles Raider player in Kansas City.
Third down and long. Craig goes deep, incomplete. Intended for Hassan Jones. Well, on comes Nick Lowry. Lowry wearing that number 8. He was tried out by 8 different teams who cut him before he hooked on with Kansas City, and 8 is appropriate. He's made 8 out of 10 field goal tries in his career. Exactly 80%, the most accurate in the game's history.
You can see Nick, look how far away he is from the rest of the team. He's a good 15 yards, then runs up to the spot. He has got his pre-kick routine down.
47 yards into swirling winds. It is no good. these chaps, part of the sellout crowd. Can't wait to get home tonight. Say, see me on TV. National TV. Hostetler wide open. Tim Brown, 40, 30, 26-yard line. Kevin Ross finally tackles him. The flag is down, and Neil Smith waving folks to come on back to the 20-yard line. Raiders haven't seen many yellow flags today. This is a big one. Takes away
71 offense, 10 yards of previous spot. Repeat, first down.
44-yard penalty plus 10. That's a 54-yard mistake. Gerald Pallery on the hold.
There's Gerald Perry. He is on Derek Thomas.
Neil Smith.
Oh, excuse me, Neil Smith. Looks like he's got a hold of his jersey, but that's a simple square in route by Tim Brown that was absolutely wide open.
You don't see a man catching the ball in that area of the field with no one within 15 yards.
You're right. And Gerald Perry is still complaining. I'm not sure I saw any real holding contact there, but nevertheless, big play against the Raiders.
Perry, the former Bronco, turned 29 on Friday, and they really are raving about the job he's done protecting Hostetler here with the Raiders. Robinson weaving out to the 25-yard line on 1st and 20. Albert Lewis up from the corner to make the stop.
Well, again, Dick, this is the second week in a row now. We've seen a lot of this. Pulling by Wisniewski. Good job running by the Los Angeles Raiders. Everybody blocks down. Wisniewski pulls up through. Nice hit on Tracy Simeon. Simeon just can't hang on to Robinson. Robinson showing a little more power in his running than we saw earlier in the season.
There's that confidence that comes with knowing the system and knowing where and how to run. 81 yards today for Robinson. I believe he's had a 100-yard game. And this is his rookie year. 2nd and 15. And incomplete. And that was one of the few times today that the Chiefs had some action into the face of the quarterback of the Raiders. He was really throwing through a crowd.
Looked like Sally Amua, yeah, in the middle of the screen there. Pressure up the middle of this Los Angeles Raider offensive line. They have done an outstanding job of protecting Hostetler.
10 for 15. The numbers for the quarterback of the Raiders, 126 yards. He didn't have that many yards all last week against the Bears, 108. 2 weeks ago, he set a Raider record with 424. 3rd and 15. They flush him out, and he throws upfield, almost intercepted. Oh my, Jay Taylor on the overthrow as Hostetler, almost a mistake there.
Oh, that's a rookie mistake. You don't normally see a guy like Jeff Hostetler with 2 Super Bowl rings and a lot of years in the league do this, late down the middle. That's the first thing you learn. Normally gets you a trip to the bench.
Derek Thomas, the man riding him down as he delivered the ball. Ooh, Al Davis had the same reaction as many of the Raider fans here in the Coliseum today. Dale Carter at the other end of this kick by Gossett. Boy, the wind is really knocking down punts going from left to right. Rolls dead at the 34-yard line to match Carter's number. 9 minutes left in the 3rd period. The Raiders by 10. Purchased by a radio station in Kansas City. You can see from the Coliseum, and perhaps not a good idea to let the Raiders see that on the way into a game. That's a pep talk taken care of for Art Shell.
Inspiration.
17-7 Raiders, 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and Craig on the toss to Anders. And the 4.
This is the onside TO. This is the counter with the onside coming. They do a good job here. Jonathan Hayes blocks down. Alt 76 out gets Wallace. 79 Zott gets Kelly. Nice pickup. They need to run the ball here. They really need to tie that defensive line of the Raiders to the line of scrimmage. They need some rushing yards.
Anders down at the 48-yard line.
Is that Aaron Wallace right behind him?
In pursuit.
He grabbed 19 in Kansas City. And even though Joe Montana didn't feel it, where's 51? There's 57. There's 51 right there. Well, he's in the neighborhood. He didn't really pull in it. No, we'll leave Aaron Wallace alone here.
No, first down on the Craig scramble. 8 minutes remaining in the third. Todd McNair, who gets another good gainer, about 8 yards on first down to the Raider 44-yard line before Moss and Hoskins can get in the way. Todd McNair, fresh legs.
Nick, again, watch this defensive line. 94, 74. Harrison is 74. Watch how quick he gets off the ball. That's the influence of Howie Long. I mean, if you've got young defensive tackles and you can get them zoned into the snap count and fire across that line of scrimmage, you're going to be a pain in the butt to all offenses in the league. And he's the king.
Marcus Allen back in the game, and he's got some running room. Dancing, gets a block, twists away. What an effort by Allen at the 10. He's down at the 5. Oh, that is vintage Marcus Allen. Weaving, dodging, darting his way into the secondary. A 39-yard run.
Dick, on a play that didn't appear that it was going to make much yards at all. 68 Shields up through there. Marcus turns his shoulders. Nice move. 48 Washington falls down. Gets by Eddie Anderson. 36 Terry McDaniel. And then the only part that shows Marcus Allen's age, he gets caught from behind here. 7 or 8 years ago, that wouldn't have happened.
He saved his longest run of the year for Al Davis, 39 yards. His previous high was 22. Making up for that fumble in the first half. McNair doesn't get much at all. Or no, they put. Both Thompsons are playing here in Southern California today. His brother Ernie is with the, check that, his brother is with the Rams, also running back Anthony Thompson, and Ernie with Kansas City. They'll be able to get together after the game tonight. Second and goal. He lost about a half yard. Marcus at tailback. It's the tight end Cash in motion. Marcus, he's at the 1, touchdown, carrying the Raiders tackler, the best they have, according to their defensive coach Eddie Anderson, into the end zone with him.
That is Marcus Allen's 7th touchdown this season.
And his 105th career touchdown among the elite in history.
Again, the part you can't teach. He follows his blockers so beautifully and then lowers that shoulder to at least even the things with Eddie Anderson and is able to get the ball in the end zone. Whoops.
Another try for point by Lowry. Ooh, that was close to being blocked.
Dick, the fans down here in front of Al Davis's box are turning around and motioning to Al Davis. No, don't do that.
Only 5 men in history have been in an NFL end zone with a touchdown more than Marcus Allen. It's appropriate. He's tied with Don Hudson because look who's number 3 now. Is that phenomenal? Jerry Rice, still young leg, 118 touchdowns. Had 4 today. This one is returnable. At the 9, it's Rocket. Ismael, 25, 30, 35, to the 40, and they love it in the Coliseum.
Dale Carter slowed him down just enough for one of his teammates to make a tackle.
Tim Barnett finally got him to the ground.
These young players for the Raiders, these receivers, their speed is so shocking. But watch Dale Carter. 34, he's going to come into the screen here. There he is right there. Just turns him inside, slows him down enough for a fellow Kansas City Chiefs to get him on the ground.
33-yard return for Ismael. Ball at the 41. 17-14 as the Raiders lead reduced to a field goal. Costa into the play wide open is Horton again. He's been open all day and has a first down at the Kansas City 47. Carter comes up to make the tackle as we go to Jim Lampley in New York. All right, Jim, and the Jets certainly have awakened, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
It's their loss here to the Raiders in the Coliseum in the final play of the game. Robinson to the 46, and a flag goes down, and now another.
Dick, you know, that last catch by Ethan Horton, illegal motion. I think it was Steve Smith moving forward that's going to be the call. Anyway, last week he had 6 catches and they ran the ball very well. Today they're running the ball very well. He's got a lot of catches today. The two are connected. Horton has been a very big factor.
Illegal motion.
6 more today.
35 offense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
That's the connection, and again, this is all related to the speed of these wide receivers. You're going to double cover the outside guys, give up some support on the run to make sure they can't get the big play, and then the tight end underneath, and the running game works and works good. We've got that at 6 receptions, not 4 for Ethan Horton.
So first and 15 from the 48. Screen it to Smith. Ooh. Well, he is a load. To the 46-yard line, Lonnie Martz has to meet him head-on along with Tracy Simeon.
Boy, there was some real contact here. Fullback screen sold well by the Raiders, but the linebackers stay home. There's a man out in front. It's 65 Max Montoya, but look at the collision. Martz on one side, Tracy Simeon on the other. And that's Rockhead versus Rockhead, and that's what Steve Smith calls those big heavyweight linebackers.
Only the ones that beat him as hard as he hits them. That's a real compliment when he calls you a rock. Second and long for Hostetler. 3:45 left in the third period. Lots of time again down the middle. Looking for Alexander Wright. And Dan Saliamua with a little defensive lineman's game.
Yeah, this is a 3-man rush. You see Derek Thomas standing up there. Well, I got him going the wrong way, but Saliamua almost gets to the quarterback.
All the way from inside, all the way around the end to try to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, he's more than 300 pounds, too. But a 300-pounder who can run that loop, that's pretty impressive.
Third down, 9. Thomas almost got it, and it's deflected at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Eric Thomas with one of those patented moves around the wing, trying to come in the back door and pick the ball right off the back of the quarterback. And doesn't have a tackle or a sack, obviously, today, Derek Thomas, but very close that time.
And Kevin Ross almost picked that ball off. Number 31. Just about made a huge play there.
Dale Carter back at the 10. Gossett into the wind. Gossett, he didn't punt at all in the first half to show the dominance, and that's a fine kick out of bounds. Has to punt 3 times here in the third, which is an indication of perhaps some momentum shift. And they finally spotted at the 11-yard line, a 34-yard punt. Timeout, 3:20.
626. They make them themselves, so they put dual airbags.
All the races in the NFL here in the AFC West, and the Raiders looking for a chance to tie Kansas City atop the division.
And Dick, the momentum has swung to Kansas City. Ever since they came out in the second half, the Kansas City Chiefs have 4 first downs, the Raiders just 1. So if they can keep that momentum going, and you get a guy like Marcus Allen who ignites other players on the team, it really helps a lot.
Oh, that would be a tough one to digest for Al Davis and Art Shell of the Raiders to have Allen return and beat them here at home. Art Shell, who had called Marcus Allen a liar and a cancer about the arguments as to why he wasn't playing here with the Raiders, which seemed out of the character for Shell. And Marcus says, nah, I love Art. I don't believe all that. This one goes halfway to Gardena.
Yeah, but wait a minute, Dick, that's worth repeating what you just said, that Marcus Allen last night when we talked to him, he says, look, I've got no problems with Art Shell, none whatsoever. And I was shocked to hear people from the Raider organization even repeat what Art Shell said about Marcus Allen. That had to hurt Art Shell more to say that than Marcus Allen to hear it.
And Marcus was what? For somebody that was that unpopular, voted the Commitment to Excellence Award last year as almost a non-player.
Yeah, that's voted on by the players.
He's back in there, and he gets the call, and they're waiting for him. The Raiders with a stop at the 14-yard line. Winston Moss spearheading the charge. Joe Kelly was there as well. So it'll be 3rd down and long for Craig and the Chiefs deep in their own end. So Allen with a costly fumble that led to a Raider touchdown in the first half, but has come back with a long 39-yard run and then a 4-yard touchdown scamper to follow that here in the 3rd period. Just under 3 minutes to go in this quarter. 17-14 Los Angeles. Craig. Incomplete, and no flag as some of the Chiefs are on the field and Schottenheimer with them. Hoskins all over the back of Willie Davis.
Yeah, McDaniel was there too. The Raiders felt anytime that they could get Dave Craig out of the pocket, move him around. He doesn't throw the ball as well as he does, but he can stand back there and set up. And there was just enough pressure to flush him out of the pocket. Ball comes short.
And they get him to 3rd down, and Craig is 1 for 7 on 3rd down throws, 3 yards.
That's a big key to winning.
So Tim Brown with 10 men on the line of scrimmage for the Raiders, and Brian Barker punting from his 5-yard line. Just got it away, and the wind really tailing that away from Brown. Good catch at the 38-yard line. And out of bounds at the 39. Well covered by Fred Jones, number 80. 49-yard punt, 2-yard return. Yeah, looking ahead to next week with a preface of scores today. Houston impressively. Big over Cincinnati, and Seattle leading Cleveland 7-5, which leads us to Houston. Houston will meet Cleveland in the first half of our doubleheader next Sunday. It all begins at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. There's the lineup of games. Check the one in your area, and we will be in San Diego to see the Raiders San Diego rematch. The Chargers on a 102-yard interception return by Donald Frank led to a victory here at the Coliseum a couple of weeks ago. This is Robinson, the rookie, and he has a couple of yards off the left side. Tracy Simeon able to motor to his right and make the stop, helping out Neil Smith.
You know, Dick, one of the keys to winning in the NFL is when you go in at halftime, whatever's not working, you can fix. And whatever they were, the Raiders were having fun with against this Kansas City defense running, Kansas City has fixed. The Raiders have not run the ball like they did in the first half. So give credit to Marty's staff for finding out what was wrong and making the adjustments, at least to this point.
And that running well, and that reflects in passing as well, as Hostetler 3 for 8. We had a big gainer called back on penalty. Into the flat, incomplete. And when you throw the ball at that angle and there's an injured Raider, that wind is going to really spank it off direction.
Yeah, that baby just dove into the ground. Who is that getting up there?
Old Max Montoya in his 203rd NFL game. Played his college ball on this field at UCLA, and then picked late in the draft in '79. But he is a great veteran.
And I'll tell you what, too, Al Davis has long been said, characterized as a guy who would pick up guys who had bad reputations. Max Montoya is quality plus. He is a solid citizen on and off the field.
Oops, whistle sounds, and they did not get that one off in time. That's the same official that threw a yellow flag in the first half, and they didn't count that delay of game. We'll see if this one counts.
Delay of game offense. 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
So that'll make it 3rd and longer. 7th Raider penalty, 40 yards today. They're averaging around 80 a game in penalties.
But Dick, that's a huge improvement from the 16 they had in Kansas City, which shocked me that was not a team record. 16 penalties, 18 penalties is a team record.
They're down and about 13. Well, that's going to be another false start for the Raiders. Bruce Wilkerson, 68, pulled off his stance.
false start prior to the snap. Number 15, the quarterback.
Oh, they called it on the quarterback.
Stetler barking his disapproval.
Well, they call it on the quarterback, but well, you're supposed to trick the other team when you give that hard count, and unfortunately Wilkerson came right out of his stance. By the way, Kansas City on that snap had 7 defensive backs in the ballgame, 4-man rush. Hostetler going to the menu there on his sleeve. He wants the repeat of the play from Terry Robisky on the sideline. Come on, he says, come on. There you go to the menu.
Sal Lemieux is out. We understand twisted knee, but not considered serious.
Oh, look at here. He's reading James Jett's menu. we got 2 menus out there in the huddle.
And one from column A and one from column B. 3 seconds on the play clock as Hostetler scrambling to get some room and then throws deep downfield, incomplete. Charles Mincy was the closest athlete, and suddenly the Raiders, who had moved the ball at will the entire first half, didn't have to punt, and it looked as if they're going to run away with it. It was 14-0, and it could have been 21-0, are having their problems here in the third quarter, and with 1:31 left in the period, Gossett to punt for the 4th time in this quarter.
Yeah, Dick, he should have stayed with just column A. When he got to column B, it stopped working.
And Carter waits for Gossett, picking into the wind. Carter at the 22.
Well, it's got a chance.
And twisted down at the 33-yard line. The Chiefs in good field position again. 47-yard kick, a dozen on the return by Carter, and a reminder to
The heroes who stopped fire.
And they're saluting them.
Yes, they are.
The LA Dodgers are going to have a big day for them next year, and maybe a couple of days. They are heroes. 1:19 to go in the third. Play action, and
he's open.
First down has a man wide open. Willie Davis, no one near him. It'll be a touchdown, Kansas City.
Whoa!
And Craig with that throw ties John Brody, his 214th touchdown pass, and he's never had a receiver, including Steve Largent, more in the open. The Raiders were scrambling everywhere, but no one went after Davis.
Nobody. Totally lost. Completely broken coverage by the Raiders.
66-yard touchdown.
Dick, I didn't think Dave Craig saw him. He waited so long.
And for the first time today, the Chiefs celebrate with the lead. That's Craig's longest pass of the season and Davis's longest catch. 66 big ones as Lowry comes in to try to make it 21-17. 21-17 as the Chiefs have rallied from 2 touchdowns behind.
Here's Davis, and you're going to see these defensive backs going this way, which is a bad idea. I mean, this is not a particularly hard play action fake, although you can see it's the fake down. But look at the time, and now look when he's open and how long Craig waits. Goodness. I mean, even in your own backyard as a kid, you could never get that open.
And Davis doing something that won't please Marty Schottenheimer, kind of walking his way in rather than getting that ball in the end zone.
It looks like, I can't tell who's responsible here. You got Hoskins and Eddie Anderson going sideline to sideline. Davis going goal line to goal line. Get in the end zone.
I'm not calling straight, listen, short.
Dave Craig. I mean, this is the Rudy version in the National Football League. This is the professional version of that popular movie. It's your local theater, Rudy. Somebody someday may just well do this man's story.
You're right.
It's worthy.
He said growing up he was always a dreamer, and he said when watch Al Davis, he can see how open he is. He's hoping for an aftershock, an earthquake, something,
penalty.
sunspots, anything.
Nice little yellow flag would have been nice for him.
But nothing.
That was an amazing clearance of turf.
Yes.
Between the receiver and anything in a black uniform.
Are you saying he was open? Let me tell you, as a receiver, those are the most difficult passes to catch, because you're thinking, wait a minute, the closest guy to me is the trombone player, and he's not good in coverage. I better hang on to this one.
Dave Craig, who signed for a $500 bonus with the Seattle Seahawks. He got something like, what, $365.85?
That's exactly right.
$365.85 after they took out taxes. They said they didn't even let me keep the pen. He's way up on the long list of great passes.
Coming out.
Taking a chance is the Rocket. Breaks one tackle there, and then a crowd gets him inside the 15-yard line. So a big quarter for the Kansas City Chiefs as they've taken the lead. Todd McNair makes the tackle on the kickoff return.
Just 32 yards, and I'm sure Al Davis can't wait till they get off that number. 33 yards would be better.
That's right. You don't want to be stuck on a Marcus. So Hostetler they'll spot it at the 13-yard line.
Well, now things change dramatically because the Raiders in this second half have established nothing at the line of scrimmage. The Kansas City Chiefs have made the adjustments, and now the Raiders got to find something else that works here, Dick.
Not unlike last week, they dominated the Bears in the first half, and then all of a sudden they had to fight for their lives to escape 16-14.
Great point.
Robinson, he goes down as if caught in a trap as he went down after a yard gain, and the trap has got a number 75 on it, Joe Phillips.
Yeah, Joe Phillips underneath the guard on the block and just kind of threw his head out there at the legs of the running back and got him to the ground. Happy in Kansas City, overjoyed to be in Kansas City.
A man who didn't play football, he was a senior in high school up in Vancouver, Washington. Down and long into the flat, incomplete. Trying to run before he caught it was Steve Smith, the fullback.
Yeah, and you know what? Now you're beginning to see the Raiders try to make the big play instead of a play.
Rocket tried on the kickoff.
Absolutely.
Smith running before the ball was there.
Yep. And there is a tendency for players to do that. Try to make the big play. If I turn this up, I'm going to get 20 yards. No, all you need is 10. Just a play at a time, whatever it gives you.
Now the big play that'll be remembered by the Raider fans, regardless of what happens, was the long pass to Tim Brown, where the Raiders did have the momentum, and it was called back in the penalty called against Perry. That seemed to be, could be a lot worse.
Yeah, iffy.
Hostetler barely going to beat that clock. And in a crowd throws, incomplete, and another drop. And this time it's James Jett. So betrayed by his receivers. Hostetler and the offense head to the sidelines. And incredibly, in a game where the Raider punter was not asked for his services an entire half, he will kick 5 times in this quarter. That's hard to do. Yeah. 5 punts in a quarter.
Yes.
So that means the Raiders are being shut down often and quickly.
I think they still stand just 1 first down in the second half. That's it.
Carter back at the 45, and Gossett hits this one. Whoa, what a kick. Carter waiting for the blocks to set up, and now it's a foot race. 40, 50, 45, and out of bounds in front of the Raider bench at the 45-yard line. Dan Land got him a 28-yard return by Dale Carter at the Kansas City 1-yard line, going in for possible a 21-point lead, and now it's the Chiefs with the lead and the ball at the Raider 45. That was a 28-yard return by Carter. This is the best field position at the start of a drive today for the Chiefs, and Howie Long into the backfield of the Chiefs.
17 offense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Dave Craig with a head bob or something to draw Long offside, and boy, Long, he's got a high twitch factor.
Yes,
he reacts like no other player in the league. Watch him, 75, second man in. A little head bob.
Yeah, you can see the hard count. There's no question about that. But normally you get more than one guy. But Howie told us a couple of weeks ago, he's just absolutely in a zone listening for that snap count. When most people look to the ball, he's looking for movement.
Well, 1st and 15 at midfield. The pump fake and the long throw, no one there. Boy, he had somebody open deep, however. Well, Davis again. Davis was 15 yards in the clear down the right sideline.
Yeah, and I think, Dick, the minute that David Craig saw the coverage, the corner was off on Willie Davis. that indicates to him throw out in the flat. But in throwing out to the flat, the linebacker came out there, was underneath the fullback, throw it out of bounds. We'll try on this down. That's a big change in the career of Dave Craig. He used to have just one guy to throw it to, Steve Largent, and Largent always got open. So he just wait for that.
That was easy.
Yeah.
It's been Davis today, 5 catches, 115 yards. The rest of the receivers total 4 catches. Middle incomplete. Quick slant, and J.J. Burton, who hasn't caught a ball today, was the target. Lionel Washington covering.
The Chiefs running something very interesting here. They're lining up 2 tight ends here on the same side. This is Cash, this is Jonathan Hayes, and then just 2 outside receivers, 1 running back. They're trying to spread the defense as much as they can for running and passing. And you see here Burton covered well, and the ball just thrown out of his reach.
3rd and 15, and Craig will repeat again, 1 for 7 on 3rd down and 3 yards. It's a screen to Marcus, and Howie Long makes the tackle. A gain of only 4. He can still play, and he wants very much. He wants to earn it. He doesn't want it to be given to him. Wants to go to his 8th Pro Bowl because it would tie the Raider record held by Coach Hardshell. 8 Pro Bowls.
I thought his point to us a couple of weeks ago that I don't want anybody to tell me to leave this game. I want to go when I'm ready.
And there'll be plenty of opportunity away from football for this handsome guy. I have a feeling he'll do very well in this business. So he says he may have a series deal cooking or a movie of the week. The Raiders stopped here early in the 4th quarter, and Barker hits it up high for Tim Brown and into the end zone. So
Exactly like Hurts.
Well, the new alignment at the Coliseum, the capacity is 67,882. They'll have about 92,000 next Saturday, USC-UCLA, when they move the temporary bleachers away. Hostetler, lots of time, and then dumps it underneath to Robinson, tackled at the 26, a gain of 6. Tracy Simeon got him.
Well, if there's one thing the Raiders can say today, they have protected their quarterback. Hostetler has had his options. Look downfield, look intermediate, and throw short.
This crowd quieted by the Kansas City comeback. No sacks on either side today. 3-time Pro Bowler over the ball. Alexander Wright moved in by Hostetler, and then the give to Robinson. Oh, he was running through big holes and around the wings in the first half, but not around Dan Saliamua. And down low was Joe Phillips as well. That's a lot of beef, well over 600 pounds, those 2 inside defenders for Kansas City.
And you know, one of the things that the Kansas City Chiefs can do to stop that run that they were getting in the first half is a predetermined move. You know, slant a little bit. And you see they're trying to run little games there. You actually saw Saliamua come off the line of scrimmage, roll around, and assist on the tackle.
Those Seahawks, they're trying to go 5 and 5. Hostetler going long. And the flag down, and you knew that was going to happen as Jay Taylor, and now here's Tim Brown going at it. And this started well before the kickoff. They were after each other. Mincy, Charles Mincy, and boy, Tim Brown, usually cool in his temperament. He really had his clock go off, his alarm rang.
And Dick, he pushed an official. In Kansas City, Nolan Harrison was ejected from the game for pushing an official. I would be shocked if Tim Brown stays around for this game, regardless of who the flags are on.
The referee threw one flag, and he was reaching in and almost pulled out the back part of his trousers trying to get another.
I'm telling you.
He used a hat that seemed to signal that was another flag.
He pushed an official, and that is an immediate ejection. Ask Nolan Harrison. He knows.
It appeared that Jay Taylor was flagged for the interference, and that was down around the 38-yard line of Kansas City. And the powwow of the officials, referee Ron Blum pulls them together. Ed Merrifield, the field judge, number 76 appeared to be the official he without the hat there. It was knocked aside by Tim Brown. Boy, that is so uncharacteristic of Tim Brown. He'd be the last guy you'd expect to get involved in something like that.
No question about that.
Defensive pass interference, number 34, Kansas City. Personal foul, late hit, number 42, Kansas City. Both fouls will be enforced. First down.
And Tim Brown stays.
Wait a minute, it sounds like we're going to need a penalty box here. We got offsetting penalties.
No, they're both against Kansas City. There's the interference.
Yeah, but they call it on Dale Carter.
Well, that was wrong. It's obviously on Taylor. And then there's the Mincy hit. Right.
There's the hit by Mincy. And then I don't think there's any question that Tim Brown pushed the official. See if it was. Well, the back judge is trying to break things apart. Well, no, I misconstrued that. That looked like a push. It was not.
All right, so the Raiders trailing by 4 have it deep in Kansas City's end. And what a hit applied by Jaime Fields on Greg Robinson. So Fields comes in for the injured Tracy Rogers at linebacker for Kansas City. And the rookie has delivered some big blows. He's built like Sam Mills, New Orleans Saints, under 6 feet tall, about 230, and really explodes into his tackles.
And you know those two defensive tackles in front of him, Phillips and Saliamua, they clean a lot of fuckers out for you.
Hostetler to Horton, and the tight end with a first down at the 14. Martin Bayless made the tackle.
He has been the big receiver for the Los Angeles Raiders. Hostetler, no problem going underneath. Watching the free release, Bayless finally gets a chuck on him a little bit, but Ethan Horton, a lot bigger than Martin Bayless, able to absorb the hit, break open. Hostetler puts it right on the money.
Rechecking Horton's numbers. That graphic earlier was correct. Now he has 5 catches, 57 yards. 11:15 left in the 4th quarter. Kansas City with a 4-point lead. First down to Robinson. And they were trying to rip the ball away. Could you see Fields trying to reach in as the tackle was being made and pull it away? And that is part of the practice system of the Kansas City Chiefs. They work on that constantly.
Saliamua told us they even pay him $5 if they can rip it out in practice just to get used to it. Excellent job here by the defense. Jaime Fields squaring up his shoulders. Saliamua again coming from the nose tackle out there to assist on the tackle. And ooh, Tracy Simeon a little late there.
That was close to a call as Fields zeroes in. Second and long for Hostetler. Into the end zone. Broken up. Intended for Alexander Wright, and the veteran Albert Lewis was there to deny.
But again, look at the time. Hostetler has to look all over the field, Dick.
This is extraordinary because the Chiefs have the reputation of really putting pressure on passing. They certainly did on Monday night, didn't they, against Green Bay and Favre?
No question about it. I mean, he looked from the left-hand side of the field. Here's right on the inside. A little hand check there by Albert Lewis. This gets his hand up there to knock it away. Excellent defense.
The Raiders, much like the Chiefs, having trouble on 3rd and long. They're 0 for 6 today, 3rd and long. Looking for the lead. Hostetler. Fumble, and it's picked up by Carter, I believe. Ethan Horton caught the ball. Now they're saying no catch. A long time before that signal was given. So Martin Bayless coming.
Inconclusive evidence. Call on the field stands.
Jaeger with a short field goal, 30 yards. And look at the wind play tricks with it. He's good again. So Jeff Jaeger is 18 for 20 this year. He's on a Pro Bowl course toward Hawaii. From Fred Jones' perspective, as he awaits the kickoff from Jaeger. Jaeger missed his first field goal of the season, his first attempt, 41 yards, has missed a 52-yarder and made all the rest, 18 out of 20. Leading 21-20, Kansas City will start from the 20-yard line. So Dave Craig with a couple of touchdown passes will bring the offense on the field. Find a way to pay your way back. Milton College, Wisconsin. Crowd trying to help the defense of the Raiders. Todd McNair. And McNair fighting for yardage and has a first down. 11 plus on that carry. Officially 12.
Well, that was beautifully executed. Excellent blocking by Kansas City up front right here. They get him down, and then they get the pull by 68 Shields out front. Tim Landers also with an excellent block. McNair pulls it up. You don't get sweeps like that in the NFL much anymore because of the width of the defensive end and the linebacker, but that was beautifully executed by Kansas City.
6 for 40 from McNair. Productive again today. First down for Craig. He sends Allen into the pattern, and the throw was for Marcus. Marcus went inside. Craig read outside, and Howie Long was right in between.
Yeah, and you can see where Dave Craig sees Howie Long coming at him, and he really doesn't set up very well. Quick move around Shields, and Craig's feet are spread apart. He was going to go downfield, had to go out in the flat, and wasn't ready to throw it at all, and therefore was way behind Marcus Allen.
Howie Long, who boxed as a kid in the Boston area, big Celtics fan. He said he always dreamed of being an NBA power forward. Well, the power really would fit, wouldn't it? Whoops, Nolan Harrison, and is it no play? Everyone seemed a bit uncertain.
You talked about Howie Long playing for the Boston Celtics. The only guy he would be like is Jim Lesketoff. Remember him?
Yes, indeed. So
Howie could play power forward like Jim Lesketoff could.
On top of that, he's a sleepwalker. Can you imagine this guy loose in the middle of the night?
Offside defense, 5 yards, repeat second down.
And there's totals mounting now at the half-century mark for the Raiders. It's been a day of offsides and false starts, hasn't it? Last of the Oakland Raiders is Howie. Played as a rookie in '81 in Oakland. Second and 5. Barnett in motion. And the give to Marcus. Oh, nothing there. Well done by the Raiders.
Absolutely. Not fooled a bit, Dick.
Anthony Smith, Joe Kelly, and Eddie Anderson coming up from safety to stop Allen.
Actually, they ran motion, and when they ran motion, and you see the motion here, it draws Eddie Anderson up here because he has no other pass reception responsibility, and he's the one guy that's there that they can't block. And they got everybody accounted for except one guy there, and the motion basically created that void.
Give Joe Kelly a piece of the action as well.
Great defense there.
3rd and 7. Oops, the receiver gets knocked down, and a flag will go down. Davis, who has been the constant target of Craig's efforts, gets knocked down on his way into that fly pattern, and that'll cost the Raiders a first down. He has been the busy man, Davis, matching the rest of the team's total in catches and getting all the yards, 66 of which were on the touchdown play that gave Kansas City the lead.
Holding 48 defense, 5 yards, first down.
But Dick, there's a reason that Lionel Washington has to hold. This is Davis. This is the pattern. Watch what happens here. The contact made by Hassan Jones, that's why he grabs a hold of him. I mean, there's as much contact on the offense there as there is the defense.
But consistently, the defender will not get the call.
You're right.
The pick.
They allow the picks.
Uncle Cunningham, the defensive coordinator. As you see the other scores, late scores around the NFL. Here it's 21-20, Kansas City. And Craig to the tight end, Jonathan Hayes. And Hayes with a first down at the 42-yard line of the Raiders. 18 on the play.
Closest man in coverage was Winston Moss, linebacker. Now, we were surprised to learn that Paul Hackett thought the guy who had adjusted best to the new offense was the tight end Jonathan Hayes. And when Joe Montana and Paul Hackett showed up at Kansas City, everyone presumed that Jonathan Hayes was out the door. This guy's learned it quickly and has made some key catches for Kansas City.
8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 21-20. Marcus Allen. Hit just as he got the handoff. That was Eddie Anderson, as if he knew what was coming. Anderson, the safety, was right up on the line of scrimmage to fill the hole.
You wonder how safeties know this, but here he comes.
That's pretty interesting.
I don't know where that came from. Maybe I'm showing his paycheck there. Lots of zeros.
Yardage gain. Yardage gain on the play.
Thank you. Ronnie Lott used to do that very, very well. Just anticipate where the ball is going. Big stop.
Anderson, who learned early from Kenny Easley as a rookie with Seattle. Underneath to Allen, and incomplete. It would have lost yardage anyway. Just as well from Kansas City's point of view that he didn't pull it in. Aaron Wallace covering it well.
Yeah.
Wallace has played well again. He's one of those that you don't talk much about with the Raiders, but just does his job so solidly.
That play was blown up from the outset. Intended to go this side of the field first. Craig did the outlet. Looks to me like 3 wides in here now. Big play for the Raiders.
They'll be teeing off on Craig. 3rd and long. Quarterback draw, and Craig is close to a first down and may have gotten it at the 31. Yes, 11 yards on the quarterback draw.
What a call. What a gutty call. The Raiders come in with their pass rush. Watch Winston Moss, 99. Just takes himself out of the play. Grunhardt, 61, with the block. And then Dave Craig hangs on. Bruce finally assists on the tackle. This is a gutty call. Watch the outside pass rush. Well, we're not talking about a spring chicken carrying the ball there. He's got it in both hands. He leads the league in all-time fumbles. He didn't want to let it get away.
Closing in on 35, Dave Craig, and the first down at the 31. Marcus Allen slowed down, but gets a couple of yards to the 29. Winston Moss and others in on the tackle.
Now the most important thing for Kansas City is just hang on to that football. Just keep taking a little bit at a time and just hang on to that football.
And the time left in the fourth quarter down to 6 minutes. The Chiefs down 14-0, and it could have been even more threatening than that, but for a hit by linebacker Tracy Rogers that dislodged the ball from the grasp of Napoleon McCallum at the 1-yard line of Kansas City in the first half. And now it's the Chiefs by 1. They consumed 4.5 minutes on this drive, and the flag goes down as Allen, dragging people with him close to another first down, but let's see what all those flags mean. Grunard, the center, and Harrison, who is playing near the Kansas City center, both moving, and we'll see what it's all about.
They stop the clock to discuss what's about to happen.
And when the referee looks at the ball and the yardsticks, it would almost indicate it's against the Raiders. It is. 15th penalty of the game for combined for both teams, and 15 of either offsides or illegal procedure.
Goodness.
That's just amazing. That's a preseason kind of statistic.
But Dick, again, the simplest of things in a game plan to an opponent you're so familiar with or so familiar to you can really make a difference.
Offside, defensive nose tackle. That penalty is declined. First down.
Whoops, Art Shell may have used the wrong word on this side head linesman, because flag goes flying. That could be another march off against the Raiders. Yep, on sportsmanlike conduct.
Goodness.
Art doesn't say much, but what he said there was out of the wrong tube.
unsportsmanlike on the Los Angeles bench. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
And you know it was Art, because if there were anybody else on that bench, he'd be right in their face. So you identified it correctly. It was Art Shell.
Out of his shell. Half the distance, takes it to the 10-yard line, not quite to the 10, so they could make a first down. So the Raiders, the penalty team in the NFL, now with 70 yards today on 12 calls. They can ill afford a touchdown here by Kansas City, because then it'll require 2 possessions. Craig into the end zone to Davis, incomplete. Terry McDaniel on the coverage.
I'm kind of surprised at that call. You know, first and goal, throwing on first down. Yeah, but now you got second and goal.
You got the full 10, though. Yeah. You got the full 10, and I think that influenced Paul Hackett's decision.
Except that I would look for a screen here. Second and goal or second and 10. It's about 10.5 to the goal line. You know, let the pass rush get by, then try something underneath. And Marcus Allen, an excellent screen receiver.
For the Raiders, one thing that pass play did was stop the clock. 5:12 left. Kansas City using more than 5 minutes on this drive. It's Marcus Allen for 2. Just wasn't much there, and you saw Marcus with that limp leg, just looking for something that he could drive into.
One of the things that always happens to football players is they lose their legs. They don't have the spring. They can't make those moves, those jukes or jives, as they're called. Marcus has always kept his legs. Even though he's a long guy with long legs, he runs like a guy who is like 5'10". Marcus is, what, 6'2", 6'2.5", something like that?
He's a good 6'2", and he's only 22 yards away from 9,000 rushing yards of career. 3rd and 8. Craig ripped down. There's the first sack of the game, and it goes to Andre Bruce. His second of the season. So the field goal unit comes on for Kansas City.
The Andre Bruce right down there. The offensive tackle was slow getting out of his stance, Sigler, and that allowed Bruce to run right by him and make the sack.
Lowry missed from 47 yards going the other way. This one will be 30 yards. And if successful, forces the Raiders to score a touchdown to win. And he punches it through. 24-20. They say 29 yards officially. John Elway and the Broncos and had the lead. Minnesota has tied them. And now it's the Raiders down by 4 with just under 4 to go, and they'll start from their 20 and then kneel down by Ismail.
Did you see that? Doggone it, I caught it in the end zone. I wanted to try to run it back.
There's our lineup next week in an NBC doubleheader Sunday. And the Houston Oilers now 5-4. Cleveland having trouble with out their top 2 quarterbacks. One injured, Testaverde, the other playing for the Dallas Cowboys. New England, Miami, Cincinnati Jets, Indianapolis, Buffalo. And John Elway will strut his stuff, leading the league in touchdown throws against that tough Steeler defense. And we'll be down at Jack Murphy Stadium as the Raiders meet San Diego. It's all next week. It starts at 12:30, a double bill on NBC. On the 20, Hostetler. Intercepted right into the arms of Lonnie Martz. And Martz, the linebacker, is to the 9-yard line. Napoleon McCallum saved the touchdown. Martz, first interception of the year.
Dick, I don't know how in the world Hostetler could have missed Lonnie Martz. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Here he is. He drops right back underneath the coverage. I think the ball is intended for Ethan Horton. There's no way to. How can Hostetler miss him? That's absolutely amazing. I mean, I'll give you this. Martz was open, but he is wearing the wrong helmet.
And the frustration trying to hide it is Art Shell. Well, the key now for the Raiders is that defense to come through, hold the Chiefs to a field goal, and they still are within a touchdown of a tie.
But Dick, they were just on the field for over 6 minutes on that last drive for 3 points, so they really have not recouped yet.
Marcus who has 1 touchdown today, and he gets a good gain on first down, 6, almost 7 yards. Aaron Wallace makes the tackle.
I think that's the other thing that you'll remember about Marcus Allen. I never saw him give up on a play or a run.
Well, and in times that's been hazardous duty, because that's when he fumbles.
Absolutely.
Trying to get that extra yards, and that was what happened in the first half today.
Yeah. And you know, with that list of touchdown makers where he stands, that is like 3,000 hits in baseball or 300 wins for a pitcher. That is an absolute lock. What date do you want to go into the Professional Football Hall of Fame?
They've got a spot reserved in Canton. On the goal. Fake to Allen, who carries it out well, and Craig then throws a touchdown to tight end Keith Cash. So both Cashes, the twins, have scored touchdowns today. His brother Kerry caught a touchdown today for the Colts, and Keith has his 2nd of the season and his first catch today.
That never should have happened. Anthony Smith almost bulldogged Dave Craig to the ground. How Dave Craig got away is beyond me. Anthony Smith had him.
3rd touchdown pass for Craig today, and Cash is going to put that one in the bank.
Oh, in the bank.
The ball.
Yes.
Lowry. And the Lonnie Martz interception leads to a quick score, and Craig has the passing hat trick today. The Raiders have been outscored 31-6 since the first quarter.
Watch Anthony Smith right here. How in the world does he not get Dave Craig on the ground? Anthony Smith is the sack leader, and he throws back to Cash. Got his head around the helmet. Somehow Dave Craig, not really known as a big strong quarterback, able to survive that, and Anthony Smith goes ballistic.
But Dave's dad said he was always headstrong, and I think that paid off in that regard. And for Anthony Smith, by the frustration he had tasting, he was ready to digest his 12th sack of the year. He's tied for the NFL lead. How in the world did he get away?
Whoa.
Kickoff comes down to Ismail. And he's got some open field now. And finally Fields with Todd McNair tackle him at the 36-yard line, a 34-yard return. Anthony Smith, who's using a formula of caterpillar husks and lizard heads and all of those sorts of things, herbals that he claims the Chinese track and field stars are using, and they've been breaking all the records.
Well, at least they put it in a capsule, so you just swallow it. I mean, it's not ingredient at a time, you know.
It really energizes.
I don't know how he missed Dave Craig, and he's going to look at the film and wonder exactly what he has to do to get an opposing quarterback down.
Now the Raiders with 2:41 to go. Now they're down by 11. They have to strike quickly, and they've got the speed to do it. And Hostetler looks long, but well covered. They go underneath the Horton. And Horton now steps out of bounds at the 47-yard line. 12 yards on the play. The Raiders have all their timeouts.
In case you just joined us late, first half, Raiders were roaring, running the ball, doing a great job. And then in the second half, they had a long play down the field that was called back on a penalty, and the air kind of went out of the balloon there.
This is 2 straight games. A great first half, and
yes,
nothing in the second for the Raiders.
Coaches hate patterns like that, Dick.
One of the Rams across town has been shut out by Atlanta. Hostetler down the field, and Tim Brown double covered. Rams fall to the Atlanta Falcons 13-0. A couple of Norm Johnson field goals, and they buried a recent touchdown pass. Well, the Chiefs came in 6-2 atop the AFC West. The Raiders at 5-3. And both teams, after this, 7 games to go, play at this point only twice against the team with a winning record, Buffalo and Denver, on their schedule.
Yeah.
So it looks as if they might have a shot at the playoff. Montgomery tries to one-hand that little shovel toss from Hostetler, incomplete. Lonnie Martz, the closest Chief.
You know, the other thing about this Kansas City win now, they're going to be 4-0 in the division. And the one thing that Marty Schottenheimer has done with the Kansas City Chiefs has beaten up on the AFC West. If they win, it'll be 20 of the last 24 games they have won versus the AFC West. So his philosophy of beat the guys in our division has worked since he's gotten there.
That's remarkable when you consider the teams, the Denvers and the Raiders, tough, and their home court, San Diego, Seattle the same.
And they will, with a win here in 221, they will have swept the Raiders again this year. They did last year. They're going to duplicate it again.
Kansas City, #1. This is a 40-second timeout.
Chiefs spend a timeout with 2:21 to go.
Will we claim the new Norelco razor shaves closer than ever without hundreds of tests to back it up? Say our new precision groove helps the Norelco lift and cut system shave closer without proof? No. We wouldn't say it's our closest shave ever without science, sensors, tests. But of all the tests that prove it's closer, the most convincing requires a personal touch. The new Norelco razors, our closest shave ever.
And just to reflect on the game last week in Chicago, when it appeared the Raiders had it locked up at about this point, and suddenly the Bears score and recover an onside kick. So that the Raiders, although you can't see it in their face, you can't necessarily dismiss them at this point. Ball at the 47-yard line. 3rd down and 10. Trying to get out of bounds, and unsuccessfully as James Jett. It is a 1st down. The Raiders aren't using a timeout here. They're coming down to the 2-minute timeout.
Actually, I would use one here.
Yeah, I would have too.
Absolutely. You get more than one play.
No, they're not going to get it. They're going to the 2-minute timeout. So they lost that opportunity. They had 12 seconds to call a timeout and did not. 2-minute warning. 31-20. Welcome back. 2 minutes to go. And a reminder following the game, many of these NBC stations don't miss Eyewitness Video. Then Ron Howard's Backdraft. That stars Kurt Russell, Robert De Niro, Bill Baldwin, and others. Viewers on the West Coast will see these shows at their regularly scheduled time. Backdraft at 8 o'clock Eastern and Pacific time. Blue skies and all that wonderful breeze. We had some rain earlier this week. Temperature around 70. Clear. You can see as far as Mount Wilson and all the. Unless Hostetler can pull out something special. He's going to go long now. Incomplete as Jay Taylor. And a flag goes down as Taylor gets his 2nd interference call. Intended for Ismail.
Rocket lobbied too. He really did. That's Doug Terry shaking his head. You'll see Ismail at the top. You called it right. It is Taylor, the man in coverage. And it must be the right arm around the neck of Ismail.
Riding the shoulder,
yes.
Right up around the shoulder. So that's a couple of flags on Taylor, who will have a long week in the Kansas City classroom with Coach Schottenheimer and others. So it's 1st and goal, and that's just what the doctor ordered for the Raiders. With 1:54 left.
Defensive pass interference, #27. It's a spot foul, 1st and goal.
You can't beat that. You stop the clock. You get 37 yards on the penalty, and you don't use a timeout. 3 timeouts left and plenty of time now. 1:54. Well, that's no surprise. A lot of penalties when these two teams meet. Half the crowd has left the Coliseum, and they might be missing something rather dramatic.
Whoa, what's this?
The toss to Montgomery, and Kevin Ross nails him for a 6-yard loss.
Dick, that was a busted play. There is no play on the books where you have a flip to a running back like that.
And that forces a timeout by the Raiders.
Look, no way in the world is that play supposed to work. Raiders are lucky they still have the ball.
That sweep, Kevin Ross nails you for a 6-yard loss. The 10th tackle for Ross today. He's been busy at that new spot at free safety. Hostetler has it knocked away, and Hostetler recovers. It was Neil Smith who had 4 sacks in game 1 against the Raiders, and he has a 7-foot, 1.5-inch wing spread. You think he's out of your zone, and then he reaches in and knocks it away.
He did a beautiful job there too. Well, 2 plays, they lose 6. And then they get the ball on the ground. Neil Smith comes from the top. He's on Bruce Wilkerson. He just keeps looping. And Hostetler's looking all over the place. See that arm up there, that left arm? By the way, he was very incensed last night at the hotel, and we haven't talked to him of late. We'll have to correct that the next time. I don't want him after me. I don't know about you.
His little celebration is a tribute. It started because he's a big baseball fan, and George Brett, of course, the hero in Kansas City. And with the Royals, he gives you the right answer. I didn't know George was here. I'll tell you that John Gonzalez and his camera crew, I think they've got a camera on everybody. When you come the Coliseum, beware. You're all under surveillance. George Brett. Oh, what memories for the fans of the Royals and all of baseball. So 3rd and goal. Hostetler to the 1, incomplete, and almost intercepted. It was right on the back of Dale Carter. Ball was just resting right there.
That was intended for James Jett. Went into and out of his hands.
So Jett, who has been brilliant, has had a touchdown go through his hands earlier.
You see the release by Jett inside, getting himself clearance. Both slip. Well, I tell you what, that's as close to a fine pattern and reception as you can come without catching it.
And that could have been an interception had Carter closed his legs.
That's right.
It would have been right on the top of his legs.
And Haas said, come on, hang on to that thing. Look at him.
Well, this is it. Do or die for the Raiders. 4th and goal. Down by 11. He throws. And incomplete. And the Kansas City Chiefs down 14-0. Could have been 21-0 early. And they dominate this second half. As the Raiders, things seem so bright for Archell's team early on, as they were going to tie, shooting for the tie atop the FC West. And Marty Schottenheimer, for the 3rd time in 4 years, lands a sweep on the dreaded Raiders.
And he knows that incomplete pass there. Yes, sir. I tell you what, Archell and his staff did a great job to start this ball game against Kansas City, because the Raiders, as you said, owned the first half. But the adjustment was made defensively by Kansas City. The Raiders were not able to run the ball at all in the second half, and that, I think, turned the game around in Kansas City's favor, Dick.
1 kneel down for Craig with 1:21 to go. Let's take a check on our Hager wrinkle-free cotton super play of the game.
Look at Marty. He's celebrating over there with the guys, the defensive guys. They're probably lobbying for an extra day off. You know, Derek Thomas and Neil Smith. Come on, go easy on us. Give us a chance. Look at him.
That's a wrinkle-free discussion there with Neil Smith.
Look at this. They're having a good time.
Duck in a final. Dallas 20, Phoenix 15. So Dallas now moves up to 7-2 to equal Detroit's mark, best in the NFC. Miami went 7-2 with their victory at Philadelphia today. And by the way, the AFC with a 16-10 lead over the NFC in interconference play. So now
oh no.
Oh. The test of the wrinkle-free slacks, and that'll give us a chance to see how his cottons are. And for us, this was the play of the game. 66 yards, and it gave Kansas City their first lead in the 3rd quarter. How open was Willie Davis? All alone in the picture. And
wide open, doesn't describe it.
Walked in. And the final gun, and Kansas